News Channel 5 network and millions of conversations. This is one of millions of conversations.
Welcome to the Millions of Conversations show. I'm your host, Samar. Today is with me one of the best community builders that I know, Lesley Scearce with United Way of Greater Chattanooga Foundation. Thank you, Lesley, for coming and joining us here all the way from Chattanooga.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we're really excited that you're here, especially because for me, I want to share with our viewers your vision as a community builder and some of the things that you've been up to.
Absolutely.
And if you want to tell us a little bit about what your focus is in 2025, we hear a lot of people talking about there's like so much division, there's so much fragmentation.
So much.
I get a question a lot, I don't know if you get it, which is it even possible for us to have unity? Do you get that question?
I do get that question. Yeah, I do. And you know, we have recognized at United Way that there's not a single community challenge or problem that can be solved on our own, right? And that sounds like such common sense, but it requires a lot of intentional action. And so I do hear that often, that people are saying we're too far polarized, we don't share common values anymore. I don't believe that's true. And I don't believe it's true because we're seeing unity and acts of service and people coming together day in and day out in our local communities. Sometimes you've got to not look up at what's happening nationally on the news and instead look at your neighbor, look down the street. So I like to say that United Way is not the name of our organization. United is the way we get things done. United is the way we problem solve. United is the way we love our neighbor. Those things, and it doesn't just happen. You have to be intentional.
Right. So can you give me a specific example of when you've seen it from neighborhood to neighborhood that surprised you and you're like, that's it?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what we're trying to replicate.
Absolutely. You know, you see it in a crisis often. You know, we've had multiple, whether it's a tornado that hits.
You had some bad weather this past weekend.
Oh, we did. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, great example. On Saturday, as the bad weather came through on our street in our community, literally within 10 minutes, you had every neighbor with their chainsaw out, my two young boys and my husband Daniel, and all of the neighbors coming together, cutting trees and removing them off of people's property, their cars, their homes. And I think one that stuck out to me the most was our 95-year-old neighbor who had a huge tree fall in the yard. He can't even leave his home, but he sat in the doorway and waved as he watched children cut and carry the limbs out of his yard.
Oh, wow.
I mean, things like that seem so simple. It's just what you do.
Yeah.
Except that it matters for community.
Right. So when there's all this conversation about this trust deficit that's happening around our country, do you feel like that's the same thing happening in Hamilton County and Chattanooga, or it's not happening there, or it is happening, but you all have a plan for it? You know,
I do think there are deficits in trust with neighbors, institutions especially. And so we've spent a lot of time trying to determine, you know, how do we actually measure and build trust in our community? Because you know how it is. You know when trust is missing, you can feel it, but it's very hard to put your finger on what defines trust and what ingredients build it. So we have a trust equation that we use at United Way. And it says this: trust is credibility, reliability,
I like that,
and here's a good one, vulnerability over self-interest. So think about that, right? What that really means is that we are going to know our stuff, right? We have to show up in a community with a sense of care and expertise. But we have to be reliable. People have to know that they can count on us and that we're going to be who we say we are everywhere we go. But the vulnerability piece, I think, is often what's the most challenging. And that is simply, I think, the ability to know that we don't have all the answers. Maybe I'm not right. And how can we be more curious so that we can care for each other at the center of what we're doing?
So when you're learning, where do you look to? When you're being vulnerable, what does that look like for you?
Oh man, you know, oftentimes I look to the people who are closest to me, who can hold up a mirror and call me out on the stuff, right? And so I once wrote down 5 names of 5 people I knew would be truth tellers always and forever.
I love that.
And they're the people that sometimes you don't want to run to because they are going to tell you the truth.
Right.
But those 5 people are the folks that I hold dear because they're going to show the blind spots that I have, and it's
And
always
this is
helpful.
really important. So, is there, when you go to them, what kind of space do you enter into? Like, is there a place that you like to meet them at, to receive the truth that they're going to tell you? That when you're looking in the mirror, that they put up for you? What does that look like for
Well,
you?
know, I think it's less about a physical space and more about maybe creating a mental space to be able to have that conversation and to say to this particular mentor I have in mind, I'm going to ask you to give me real feedback. And I'm inviting you and giving more than permission. I'm asking you to be very honest with me.
Okay.
Because I need someone else to help me see the things that maybe I don't.
But that takes strength to do.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah. It takes having probably failed forward quite a few times.
Right.
To know how much you need that.
Absolutely. So has that been your own personal and individual experience and wanting to help build this community that you are born into, right?
Yes.
I mean, what does that look like for United Way, the strategy plan, the focus
That's right.
that you're building? Yeah.
I am a born and raised Chattanooga girl. And
It's a great city.
It's a great city.
I love it.
And we're known for the Chattanooga Way, which is cross-sector collaboration to help solve problems that we see. We did it we are the dirtiest city in America.
Really?
Yes. Back in the 70s, Walter Cronkite called us we were the dirtiest city in America. The pollution was thick. You had to turn your lights on to go to work in the middle of the day.
Really?
We came together and turned it around. And so we've seen that happen over the decades to come together collectively to respond to problems. So let me tell you about the problem we're trying to solve right now.
Please, yeah.
So in our community and across the state of Tennessee, 44% of households are working hard, sometimes 2 and 3 jobs, but they are not making enough to make ends meet. And so we call those households ALICE households. It's an acronym. Right. So stick with me for a second.
Okay, I'm with you.
Asset limited, AL, the AL is asset limited, which means no safety net in a time of crisis. Income constrained, so there is income, but it is not matching up to cost of living, which, by the way, increased $20,000 in Hamilton County in just the last 2 years alone for a family of 4.
Wow.
$20,000. And the E is employed. So oftentimes Alice is working 2 and 3 jobs.
I see.
And making impossible decisions every day. Like, do I buy this medication for my child? Put food on the table. Do I keep the lights on?
Real.
Or do I
real.
take the laundry to the laundromat so my kids have clean clothes for school? 44% of our households are falling into that threshold. So
it's very serious.
It is serious. It is because we are clear-eyed about our focus on ALICE households with children, because when kids grow up in households that are stressed, toxic stress all the time, it impacts their health, their ability to learn, their entire future.
Right.
So that is the problem we're tackling right now.
Okay, so how are you tackling it?
Well, we're doing it a few ways, and it takes all of us, which is what's so critical to remember. It takes all of us. We are, one, addressing basic needs, supports. We're helping to pay that light bill. And we had 73,000 calls to our local 211 at United Way.
73,000.
73,000.
This is United Way of Greater Chattanooga.
Correct. Just Chattanooga. So imagine amplifying that across the entire state of Tennessee. So we're helping to meet basic needs and connect people to resources, because a more connected community really is the answer.
Absolutely.
Secondly, we are collaborating more effectively with the nonprofits in our community.
Okay.
We've actually created a cohort of 20 nonprofits.
Wow.
That are, it's like fielding a baseball team, right?
Yeah, I like
Everyone
that.
has their specialty.
I like that.
And they're all coming together to walk hand in hand for 3 years in order to address the issues facing Alice. And then the third, and we can talk more about this, is in the workplace. We are empowering companies to really enact their own family-friendly policies.
So what does that look like exactly?
Well, what it looks like is we realize Alice goes to work every day. And in Tennessee, the top 20 jobs in Tennessee pay under $20 an hour. Okay, so we're talking cashiers, childcare workers.
Under $20 an hour.
Yes, in every industry there are ALICE workers, and so what that means is two full-time parents still can't make ends meet for their children.
Right.
Isn't that wild to
It
think
is.
about?
It's sad too.
It is. It is. So what we're finding is that nobody cares more about their own people than the employer, right?
Right.
Who already understands that their shared future is also linked to how healthy that employee is at home and at work.
Yeah.
So we are giving.
And it's reminding them of that.
That's exactly right. So we're
Right.
educating them, policies, case studies, bringing together innovations so that companies can enact better benefits.
Right.
For their own working families. Stabilize at home, stabilize at work, and everybody wins.
I love the stabilization focus. Well, thank you, Lesley. We're going to talk a little bit more when we come back after the break.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the Millions of Conversations show. I'm your host, Samar, and with me is Lesley Scearce.
Yes.
Thank you again, Lesley, for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Really enjoying hearing about the ALICE program that Lesley helped spearhead with United Way of Greater Chattanooga, which is one of the oldest United Way chapters in America, in the world, if I'm not mistaken.
There are a few of us that have hit 100.
And you celebrated your 100th anniversary, your
did.
centennial anniversary about 3 years ago?
2022.
Okay.
Yes.
And so can you give us a little insight into the past 100 years, how you formed 100 years ago?
Oh, yes. Okay. So how we formed actually is the perfect story for United is the Way.
I love it.
United Way was literally founded by a Jewish rabbi, a Catholic priest, and a Baptist minister.
Wow.
Who came together and said there has to be a better way to serve the community, and if we do it together, it will be stronger than if we try to do this on our own.
Okay.
And so isn't that remarkable to
It
consider? And so to recognize the fact that a lot has changed with United Way over the last 100 years, but what has never changed is that at the heart of what we do is humanity and community and that connectedness that is so critical.
And you're trusted by a lot of stakeholders, if I'm not mistaken. And that's also really important right now, especially in this moment of where we're dealing with this trust deficit.
That's right. It's incredibly important. You know, we, as I said before, we know that the task is too big to do alone, and it's too important not to do it together. And so what that means is that we have to bring together nonprofits, businesses, government, houses of worship, neighbors, find ways to take their own sparks and their strengths and what they can bring to the community and put them together so that we can then solve these problems. So we did that at our 100 year, like literally, actively.
So since the past couple of years, since you've passed 100 years old.
Yes, yes.
And what have been some of the challenges that you found to this community building work?
Well, I think that one of the key challenges that we're seeing is even just in this political and economic climate we're living in, if people are afraid and they don't feel that they can trust their neighbor, it's very difficult to help people lift up out of that space.
Okay.
And so, you know, we're finding that, you know, in COVID, we were on the front lines serving our community, problem solving together.
Right.
The government saw nonprofits as part of the answer to how to best ensure people were healthy and thriving and stable and safe.
Right.
The exact opposite is happening right now. And it's very unsettling when there is not only this feeling of division,
Right.
but also, or a lack of understanding around common shared values that we always have held so dear, but also, you know, uncertainty and being scared about the economic climate we're in. So our role in this, we have just said, we will be sturdy.
Right.
I love just even the sound of that word,
Yes.
sturdy.
Yes.
In the midst of something where it feels like the winds are constantly changing.
Right.
And we will help make sense of what's happening in our community and what's happening in our nation, hopefully in a way then that reduces fear and helps people show up for each other
Yes.
and remembers that at our core, we were created to be connected to one another. Serving, rolling up our sleeves side by side. That's the difference maker.
Well, every time I speak to you, I think about how this programming that you're doing is something that the whole country needs. And quite frankly, I think most of the world needs as well. So if somebody wanted to replicate your vision and your team's vision and what you all are doing in Chattanooga,
Right.
what would you recommend the first step be?
Well, it's exciting. A lot of United Ways are learning how to focus in on our working but struggling households. So there are a lot of resources. If you go to our website at United Way, well, we'll find
United
it.
Way of GreaterChattanooga.com.
That's exactly right, something like that. uwchat.org. You're going to find, the data.
uwchat.org.
uwchat.org,
Okay.
That's right. You're going to find the data. Things so that you can drill down in your own community on what does the struggle look like for working families in your own community. And once you're equipped by understanding what the needs are around childcare, transportation, economic mobility, health and wellness, then you can begin to do what we've done, and that is start to put together strategies to help uplift and empower Alice households.
So a part of it is as working families.
That's
and
right.
You focus there. And you and I worked on setting up the Learn United series as well, and we've been talking about what the future of that looks like. Can you talk me through, from your perspective, a little bit about some of these issues you're talking about with regards to fear as a challenge? Did you find that series helped, or did you feel like it was just the beginning?
It did help, but it is just the beginning.
Okay.
It's both. So I think we have recognized that we are at a moment in time where this concept of United is the Way is needed more than ever. And so to work together with you hand in hand to bring a conversation series to our community where essentially asking people to be vulnerable, asking people to show up, and do it in a way where we can discuss the common values that we hold around hope and joy, and just reminding us about who we are at our very best.
Did you feel there was an unlock there? I mean, I remember you all were telling me that there was a series of like dinner conversations as well that came out of this.
It did. I mean, it sparked actions outside of the room that night, which is what we really wanted, is to ask people to open their eyes and find ways to have greater empathy and spend time with someone that you normally wouldn't know. You know, there's actual research right now that shows that the number one indicator to help with economic mobility in a community is the strength of our social connections.
Wow.
Okay? It's not your education, right? It's not the things that we've always said matter so much. This is Chetty's research, right? So you know it's good. And so the connectedness in a community, the friendliness of a community, the openness to spend time with people outside of your own socioeconomic station is what lifts people out of poverty and into stability. Okay. So we want to do that with Learn United. We want to be sure that people have the tools and the skills to practice United is the Way. And that's what we're doing inside the workplace with our companies. You know, we're helping them find ways to connect more deeply with their own people and let work be a place where you're elevated. We're doing it in our community with our nonprofits, and then we're doing it through series like Learn United.
It sounds like you're doing a lot of education.
Yes.
You're doing a lot of gathering.
Yeah.
And you also have resources, if I'm not mistaken, that you're also deploying in strategic ways that help unlock other potential funds that are both, walk me through that a little bit. Are you focused more on trying to get more corporate matches or government funding around
these issues?
Yeah, I'm asking out of ignorance.
We're looking at it in actually a completely different way.
Okay.
You know, the old school United Way, everyone knows, was a fundraising machine inside the corporate workplace, right? It's fall, it's time for you to give your pledge.
That's what I recall from
and no doubt, so much good was done from that and so many results. But we are looking to unlock the potential and the future in simply getting companies to change their own behaviors in order to uplift their own employees. So think about it this way. Okay. We're not gonna nonprofit or social service our way to elevating 44% of our households. But you know what? Alice gets up and goes to work every day. Right. So when we have a family, you know, and these are true stories, who are, you know, can't afford childcare, literally had a company recently reach out to us for help because they had someone on the manufacturing line pass out. They just assumed it was a substance abuse issue, but once they looked more deeply, he couldn't afford his rent and to eat, so he had not eaten in 4 days. So United Way is playing the role of both saying, okay, company X, Y, or Z. Here are benefits, wage increases we've seen happen, but also robust ways to actually stabilize a family and then connect to the United Way because we know how to help that man.
Absolutely.
We know how to ensure that he can eat at the end of the day when he goes home. We're unlocking resources in a whole new creative way, but it's in a way that connects people and uplifts them.
It's incredible, it's inspiring, and what's coming to mind for me is that you're a bridge, a very important bridge right now that we need more than ever. Well, thank you. You're an inspiration. Stay with us. We're going to be coming back right after the break and giving you a little bit of a homework assignment like we do about what you can do about what you just heard. Welcome back to the Millions of Conversations show. I'm your host, Samar Ali, and I'm here with Lesley Scearce. Lesley was just telling me about my first homework assignment, and it is going to be
to go find the latest Alice report. It's on our website, but you can also find it statewide, anywhere in your corner of the community in Tennessee, to understand the actual needs of your neighbors.
Okay. So that just came out last week.
That's right.
Okay, great.
Hot new data.
So we're going to be looking up the Alice report. That's the first thing. The second thing that I picked up was that we're going to be practicing, and I'm going to be practicing how to be more vulnerable. And that includes making a list of mine or your 5
truth tellers.
Yeah. I love that. And then asking them and being ready to receive what they're going to tell you regarding that mirror that they might hold up to you. And my next thing I have on my homework list here is to focus on the strength of social connectedness and thinking about how do we be a little bit more neighborly and expand our neighborhood and be thinking about who are people that we normally don't engage with that we need to be engaging with so that we can strengthen that connectivity. And then the next homework assignment, they're short and quick, but maybe they're a little bit hard, is how are we working on making sure that our voices are credible, and also thinking about what other voices that we find naturally are credible, and are there maybe some voices that we should also consider being credible but that are not. And then lastly, reliability. Reflecting on, are we reliable, and are we being reliable, and can we work on that? Right. So those are my homework assignments that I hope that you'll also join me in doing, and we look forward to following you, Lesley, and thank you for your leadership.
Thank you for having me. Thanks for yours.
Thank you. Thanks.